Jai Hind viewers, welcome back to the Global Strategic and Defense News. Today it is my honor and proud privilege to interview an eminent personality whom I've known for over 3.5 decades, with whom I have trained in the National Defense Academy, Khadakwasla, who's a very highly renowned intellectual. And when I tell you about him, you will be as shocked and surprised as anyone would be because the kind of credentials he has is absolutely phenomenal. He is Devashish Chakravarty, who's a retired officer from the Indian Army from the Corps of EME. He is a great marathoner, he's a great sailor, he's a national level bridge player, and above all that, he topped the UPSC entrance exam for the 79th NDA course for which both of us belong. He was at position number 1 in the entire country for this world's 8th toughest exam. And not only this, he is the only person in history of India to have got 100 percentile twice in the CAT exam for the IMs. He did his MBA from IM Ahmedabad and he topped that course. And he was interviewed by NDTV few years back when he had finished his IM course, where the anchor said that he has been offered a 1 crore per year salary in a bank in Hong Kong, and he refused because he wanted to become an entrepreneur. And ladies and gentlemen, he is an entrepreneur. So the kind of spirit he has, the kind of josh he has, the kind of jazba he has, I'm yet to come across anyone from the immense friends and course-mates and other acquaintances that I know. I welcome Devashish Chakravarty to the Achievers Articulate on the Global and Strategic Defense News to discuss his newly launched book, How to Get a Job in 30 Days. Welcome, Devashish, to the Achievers Articulate.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Colonel Sodi. It's really a pleasure knowing each other for such a long time and being in touch through the armed forces and beyond that as we as we continue our journeys in the private sector. It's been a real pleasure knowing you. Thank you very much for your kind words and for bringing me on this show and giving an opportunity to speak to you once again.
So, Devashish, tell us that you had such a beautiful, successful journey where you have topped every course you've done in the army. You've topped the IM Ahmedabad. You topped the CAT exam, like I said, with 100 percentile twice. So, what has been the success of this phenomenal life journey that you have had so far?
So, just one small correction. In IM Ahmedabad, I was the best all-round student and got the gold medal for that, not the academic topper. But yeah, to answer your question, at any point of time, whatever you are doing at that point of time, you take in that identity completely. So if you're, let's say, in the army and you're doing some training, then take on the identity of the student completely. Forget that what you are outside of that circle. Or if you're working, whether it's inside the army or otherwise, adopt their identity completely and devote yourself full-fledged to that. So anything that you mentioned about my career, there were different points of time. At each point of time, if I'm a student in doing my MBA, then I take on that identity completely and I devote myself to it. And if, for example, if the best all-round student, that means I take on that identity, okay, this is what I like doing sports as well as studying at the same time. So follow that fully and discard whatever your previous identity was if you're doing a new venture. For example, I mean, just to take your example too, you have had a very illustrious career doing multiple stuff, and then you decided to get into media, and I can see that you have taken on the identity completely and you're doing multiple talks as well as having your own show right now. And I think it's the same secret for anyone and everyone. At any point of time, when you immerse yourself completely into what you're doing, it's only a matter of time until you start doing it better and you become an expert or a master at it.
Well, that's really great words coming from you, who's so well known in every circle for the phenomenal work that you've done. Devashish, I have one more question to ask you. Generally, we have
Yes.
seen people are either good in academics or they're good in sports. But you're one of the very few personalities whom I've known who's good in everything, be it sports, be it academics, marathoner, sailor, bridge player. I mean, so many hats you're wearing and you're excelling in each one of them. That is the most beautiful part. So how do you manage your extracurricular activities, your academics, now your business? I mean, there is no sphere in which you're not excelling.
So I'm so glad that as we are getting older, memories are becoming shorter. So I would just like to take you back right to the beginning of National Defense Academy. Uh, I was very weak in physical training and sports. All my life, I've been that bookworm in the library or studying, etc. And I was so weak that I remember in our second semester, there was something known as the relegation warning list. So I was not clearing my physical tests, so which means I was in the bottom 2%, 3% or so. And again in the third semester that repeated. So you get this last 2 weeks in that semester to clear the test, or you repeat the semester. And I would clear the test in those last 2 weeks, right? I was that weeks a bottom 2%, maybe a bottom 5%. But by the time it came to fourth semester, and we were attending Camp Rovers, so I made up my mind that I need to get better. Whatever my shortcomings are my shortcomings, because maybe I was not that involved in sports earlier. The only way to get better, if you and I are undergoing the same training and you have been a sports person, then you will respond to the training that much better. And I'll be struggling to keep up. Now, if I have to match you, I cannot be undergoing the same training. I have to exceed that. Only then I can come back from behind and become equal to you, who's better than me. So from fourth semester onwards, I decided any camp, any route march, I will carry the heaviest load. Yeah, this also brings me then second semester, one of the run backs of the camp I could not complete in my second semester. So that made me the weakest person in my squadron, which is the dormitory. In fourth semester, I started carrying the machine gun, which is double the weight of the. There's one person, you remember, who has to carry the machine gun, and you would take turns carrying it. And I said, now that I've got my hands in a machine gun, from all training from fourth semester till the time I got commissioned, I'll never let go of that machine gun, which is carrying double the weight as compared to others. And so by overloading a bit more, I could at least become average. And in Indian Military Academy, then again pushed myself to become slightly above average. And then I got commissioned. And then that thing remained that, hey, if I can take myself from the bottom of the pile to slightly say higher average, can I reach the top of the pile? Which means represent India in some sports. And then, if you remember, you and I, we both went in for Army was kind enough to send us for engineering. So while we were in engineering, so all my spare time, I'm going to try out different sports and pick some sports. So I tried out different sports, found my calling into three sports: rowing, bridge, and sailing. And all Saturdays and Sundays I would spend sailing. Rowing, that the College of Military Engineering had the Indian rowing team effectively. Corps of Engineers has captured rowing and all the Asian Games medals for decades. So I would go and look at them and train after them, train before them whenever I could get a boat. At one point of time, I was going at 4 a.m., taking the boat out of the boat shed. There's nobody out there, and rowing non-stop. And finally, it paid off when we had the rowing competition. For the first time, EME, that is my course, beat all the engineer courses, and we lost to the professors, the teachers who were colonels and Arjun Award winners, etc. And I made it to the Maharashtra level, the first non-engineers officer to make it to the Maharashtra Open Championship. Same thing did with bridge. We started learning bridge as batchmates, just passing the time in the afternoon after engineering classes. And then we entered into bridge competitions. We ended up last, the very last group of 10 EME officers. And some of me and my partner, we continued. And we moved up the ladder. And one fine day, we played a cutoff round and we came back to campus. And frantically, the senior officers in the campus started looking for us. They called us up from the class. Hey, you have qualified for the finals. We never expected. So over a period of 2, 3 years in bridge, me and my partner, we reached the finals, and we turned up to be a South India number 5 seeded. So we entered the national championship. Again, all in the matter of those 3 years while we were doing engineering. Same thing with sailing. Reached national championship, performed, and there was an international championship coming up, and there was a spot open, and I was allocated that spot. So I sailed Asia Pacific Sailing Championship, and I got to represent India, which was a dream come true. The journey took about 10 years, from being the weakest or one of the weakest in National Defense Academy to representing. Same logic I applied for when I started running at a later age. That, hey, let's start off with 5 kilometers, and then went on to marathons. And oh, if you've done marathon, let me try ultra marathons. Yeah, but those journeys have been long because that was not my forte. Academically too, I was not a school topper. I was fourth in my school, but I wanted to get into the National Defense Academy, so I think I overstudied. And once I topped UPSC, then I carried the reputation into NDA. And then we joined first term. Oh, Devashish, the academic top. Now I had to maintain that. So I had to studied really hard for the first semester exams, and I equaled the NDA record for the highest CGPA in the first semester. Yeah, then there's no looking back. It's a reputation to protect. So every course I go to, I'm carrying that reputation. If I don't come first, or if I don't study hard enough, people are going to quote that back to my face. So you keep studying.
What
That's
a,
it. That's it. So and that's like applicable to everything that I've done is just that. Is that, hey, if I'm doing this, then right now I've got nothing better to do at this moment. So if I'm talking to you right now, I don't have anything better to do. I've chosen to talk to you. So I should be listening to what your question is, and I should be answering it the best of my abilities, because I've got really nothing better to do at this moment because I've chosen to talk to you and accept your kind invitation. So
what a remarkable journey and so incredible, so impressive. I mean, salute and
that's so
respect to
glad,
you,
right?
Devashish, that
But I'm
the
so
work
glad
you were
you
telling.
forgot, you forgot my first semester status, that I was such a weakling. You forgot
Yeah,
that. I'm so glad you're getting older and you're forgetting the past.
no, but it doesn't matter how you start. What it matters how you finish, and the way you have reached the pinnacle. My salute and respect to you, Devashish. I would like to ask you a question. I mean,
Pause. This is such a brilliant thing you have stated. It doesn't matter where you start. Only two things you need to do. First is get to the starting line. It doesn't matter where you start. What will matter is where you finish. So only two steps. First, get to the starting line. Because if you just have a dream and you don't start, nothing will matter. Then you have to get to the finish line. There are only two steps to it. And it doesn't matter where you start. You have to get to the finish line. That was so
I
brilliant.
absolutely, I totally agree with you. Devashish, tell us what made you write the book Get Hired in 30 Days? What were your experiences that made you write this book? And tell us about the book. What have you written in the book, which you feel will help the viewers, will help people who want a job? I mean, what is unique about this? Your efforts, your experiences. Please tell us what went into writing of this book.
So I'll just break this up into two, three parts, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, sure.
So the first part is this book is Get Hired in 30 Days is about jobs. So a bit of background is necessary. So I've been in the jobs market per se. I've been in the market, I've been a stakeholder in this market. So after my MBA, the business that we started was into employee background verification and recruitment, amongst other things. And then over a period of time, as the recruitment business picked up, also what happened is I was reached out by the India Today group. They had a monthly magazine called Money Today, and they wanted a page on careers. So initially, they had asked me for a couple of guest columns, and then they said, "Can you become a columnist on careers? Because we don't have people from industry who can consistently write on the jobs market. You seem to be having some experience." So I became a columnist in Money Today, monthly, one career page that belonged to me. Then, after some time, the Times of India group. So it turned out that I was the only columnist on careers in the country. After some time, the Times of India group asked me to switch to the Economic Times. They were starting a new weekly newspaper called ET Wealth, which is all about investments, etc. And career was also a wealth generating mechanism, income generating mechanism. They wanted a columnist, and so they invited me on. So ever since then, for the last 15 years, I've been writing for ET Wealth. So bi-weekly, I have a career page, and I write from the perspective of the job seeker. Right. As a result of this, till date, since I'm also in the business of HR and recruitment and employee background verification, etc. Plus, since I've been writing, but when I'm doing business, I'm doing business on behalf of the client, the company that is hiring or verifying the employees. But when I'm writing on the behalf of the professional who wants to be successful at work, wants to find a job, be successful at work, and so on and so forth. So it's been what, an 18-year journey that I've been in this business. And in writing these newspaper pages, I must have been published in the newspaper for roughly, if I can estimate, about 350,000 words, means more than 250,000 words. If you look at the content that I've written on jobs, on promotions, on campus, which campus to get into, any and all kinds of problems that professionals face while working in a salaried atmosphere, then the amount of content that has been published by a very reputed organizations in the open domain, and maybe the readership of about 3 to 8 lakhs people have read it every 2 weeks, then that content would fill about 10 books. So I'm sitting on a pile of content. Somewhere somebody mentioned, why don't you write a book? So that idea stuck in my mind for the last 5 years. I should write a book because some people like reading books. Newspapers are, I mean, not everybody wants to read newspapers. So I should write a book. That thing just kept along. So this is the genesis, sitting on a huge pile of published content, which has been cleared by editors, received by readers. People write back. They reach out to me with their questions, their problems. People reach out on LinkedIn, on email, and I help them out. So working with job seekers and people, there's a lot of knowledge and a lot of content already there. But I need to bring out some books. So I thought, okay, let's write someday. And then in 2024, I just finally decided that's enough is enough. I need to, treat it like a project, treat myself like an author, think like an author, and get down to doing it. So that was the genesis. Now, a lot of this content can be seen in multiple ways. So you're already working in a company. How do you become more successful? How do you change domains, etc.? Part of this content is how to find a job. Now, so let's say I decided on a series of 7 books under the theme Your Sorting Hat. Now, Your Sorting Hat comes from Harry Potter. When you join the Wizarding Academy, you put on a sorting hat. Sorting hat tells you which house to go to. So your sorting hat means what is it that will make you successful in a career? What is specific and customizable to you? That being the theme, the first book would be finding a job. So Get Hired in 30 Days seemed to be a good way of changing your mindset and totally focusing and getting that job, whether you are in between 2 jobs or you're starting a career at any stage in life. Right. So that became the theme of the book, Get Hired in 30 Days. After that, it was pretty straightforward, at least for me, because I had so much of content I've already written, right? But I have to give it a fresh perspective and write that. So I made chapter headings, and then I wrote that book, the total exercise from writing to editing. So I decided I'll self-edit. So I taught myself how to edit. I'll make the cover page myself. Total, it took about 6 weeks. But you have to recognize 6 weeks until from the date I said, okay, I'm writing a book, till the date I published it on Amazon. It's an ebook. Total period of 6 weeks. But yes, I had that huge advantage that I'm already sitting on content that I've written myself, which has been pre-edited and received well with readers. So that's about the book. So first part was, I said I'll divide the question into 2, 3 parts. First part was, what's my background that qualifies me to write this? I maybe have helped about more than 20,000 professionals over this 18 years. So that's my background and qualification to write this. I've been writing for newspapers. That's again the ability to write. Then the actual process of writing the book. Now, what is it new or the theme about the book, or what is it one takeaway that could really help you if you are not a reader or you don't? What is that one takeaway? What is that core takeaway that can be the foundation of your thought process and maybe change your frame of reference so that you find a job faster? Get hired in 30 days is a big promise. So here's the core takeaway, right? Simply speaking, let's say I go to one of those e-commerce websites, and let's say I add something that I want to the cart, and I let it remain there. I want to buy a new phone, I add it to my cart, I let it remain there. So does that make me a customer? As a question I'll ask you, does that make me a customer?
No, till the time I think one
No.
hasn't purchased it.
Correct. I'm a window shopper, right? Moment I purchase it, I become a customer. So difference between adding to the cart and actually purchasing it is what? I paid the money. Correct. That makes me a customer. Now, moment I become a customer, anything goes wrong, maybe the packaging is wrong or the person doesn't come to my house, I can put up a complaint and, Amazon will, or whatever the e-commerce site will solve the problem. Same thing when you order food online, anywhere, or you run a business. You have run a business too after the army days, right? So who is our customer? When you run a business, who's our customer? I've run a business, you have run a business. Who's our customer?
Who is paying for the either the service or the product that he or she is purchasing.
Perfect. Wonderful. So our clients, right? You run a business B2B business. I run a B2B. Somebody runs a B2C. Somebody's purchasing. That person is a customer, and you have to solve that problem. You have to deliver value. You have taken money, right? Simple. So when you're a job seeker, who's the customer? Or you're a salaried professional, who's your customers? Who will be the customer if you're a salaried person?
I mean, the clients who would be coming to that company for getting their work
No,
done.
but who's paying you money? As a salaried person, who's paying you money?
Okay, the company is paying the money, right?
The company is paying money, right? But the company is an entity, right? So the
Right.
company has a representative, which might be your CEO, your manager, and so on and so forth. The question is, you are getting paid by your customers. Can you look at that as a customer, your manager and your employer as a customer? Then the question comes is, are you delivering value to justify the payment like any business would do? You and I served in the armed forces, which is like the government. The government paid us money. Are we delivering value? I mean, the entire training and entire focus all the while was, are you doing your duty? Okay, in the
Right.
armed forces, we'll call it duty. But what was duty? It's serving our customer. We have signed on to serve that customer, and doing our duty was the highest goal. Our motto in India was service before self.
Right.
Am I doing my duty? Look at from the customer mindset. We have signed on. Our customer is the nation. Through its representative, the army is paying us a salary. That's clearly the customers, right? And their representatives are my commanding officer or whosoever. Am I doing my duty? Am I serving? Am I doing my job? So if as a professional you stop thinking this is a job and start thinking, who's my customer? What does my customer require of me? Right? Now my customer is my employer. My employer is serving its customer, the client.
Yeah.
So straight away get this overall frame. The client requires us to deliver X. Am I doing a job of delivering X or I'm trying to stick to my job description? And then everything becomes clear. Oh, this is why my friend got promoted, but I didn't because I was doing my what I think my job is, and then I'm bringing my ego into the play that hey, you can't ask me to do X, you can't ask me to do Y. This is not what I signed up for. Fair enough, whatever you're saying so, but recognize that okay, your customer now requires something different, some value add, some feature. You can choose to deliver it or you can choose not to deliver it. If you choose not to deliver, as a business, we know that my customer will go elsewhere. But I can stick to my guns that this is what I deliver. If I'm a restaurant, I deliver South Indian food, not pizzas. Customer wants pizza, will go elsewhere. Same customer who was having dosa today wants pizza, tomorrow will go elsewhere. Or I can say I'll be a multi-cuisine restaurant. That's up to me. How focused. Moment you bring that into focus, then you look at interview process or the resume. My customers put out a job description, right? I am talking about my resume, my whole life. I spent, 20 years in the army and 15 years in here and all that. I'm telling my life story. Life story only interests friends and family. That customer is saying, hey, this is my requirement. Can you fulfill it? So make your resume according to what the customer wants. Now you join, when you're going for the interview, why are you talking about, if I start talking about what I did in the army, is the customer hiring me for my army experience or some other experience? Let me only focus on that. Customer wants some deliverables. He's interviewing you to figure out that, hey, this person, once this person joins, will this person deliver those outcomes? He's actually not even interested in your qualification. He's just trying to say qualification hai to maybe better chance. Similar experience to maybe better chance. Past में deliver किया है तो maybe better chance. If you got promoted by the previous company, maybe there's a better chance. There's no guarantee. Customer just trying to figure out, I have these deliverables to my customers as the employer. Is this guy going to deliver it? The moment you adopt that mindset, your interview approach changes, right? And when you join, your approach towards your management changes. Your approach towards your employer's clients, it changes. It's only one thing, who's my customer? And all my life, apart from my job, I'm a customer. I buy stuff, I eat stuff. Every day I'm eating stuff. I'm a customer. I buy the vegetable, I'm a customer. I eat, I'm a customer. I get water from the municipality I'm a customer. I'm paying for the electricity, I'm a customer. Everywhere I'm a customer. Only one place I have a customer. Surely I know how to satisfy one customer. So that's the
Very
core theme on the foundation is built.
beautiful. It was really, very nice talking to you and the way you explained. I mean, viewers, when I release the video, I'll be putting the Amazon link of this book, and you should definitely purchase this book because I, having been 12 years in the civil, I can understand that this book has so much of significance for each one of us who is either searching for a job or he wants a job change. Because with the kind of wealth of experience that Devashish Chakravarty has, I'm sure every word written in this book would be worth $1 million, because having been, like I said, in the civil world for 12 years, I very well can understand what a job means and how this book is going to be of immense help to each one of you. And before I end the show and I thank Devashish, I would request all of you viewers to like the show, forward the show, subscribe to the channel, and most important, do write your comments, because your comments are the most valuable, because the comments tell me that how you have liked the show, what other topics would you like me to call eminent personalities on. So your comments are the most valuable to me. Thank you, Devashish. Thank you so much for sparing your valuable time coming on to JSDN, speaking about your fantastic and astonishing life journey and the great book, which I'm sure will help hundreds and millions of people, because really this book is a need of the hour. Thank you once again from the core of my heart, Devashish, for coming on the Global Strategic and Defense News.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for inviting me, and thank you so much for this opportunity. I really appreciate it. Wish you and your show all the best going forward. Thank you very much.